Hey, this is Elijah from Rennline, and today we're going to install our TR35 PDK-to-Manual shift knob conversion kit. This fits 991.1, 991.2, 987, and 718 PDK transmissions. This kit allows you to customize the interior by adding a manual-looking shift knob and an Alcantara shift boot, both of which you can customize the colors of. Let's get into this install. Before installing this in the car, we have to assemble the kit. So we're going to assemble the shift boot onto the trim ring. The supplies needed are going to be isopropyl alcohol, contact cement, binder clips to hold the boot onto the trim ring, and rubber gloves. The first step is going to be gluing the shift boot to the trim ring. Before we glue the shift boot to the trim ring, we're going to align it with the binder clips. There's some indicators on the boot and on the trim ring for the alignment. These holes are going to align with these prongs on the front. And these seams on the boot are going to align with these indents on the trim ring so that it sits flush. We're going to align the shift boot with the trim ring. And I'm going to line up the rest of the shift boot with these binder clips just to get it positioned before we actually apply glue. Now that we have the shift boot aligned on the trim ring, we're going to start gluing. So we're going to remove each of the clips and we're going to apply a little bit of the contact cement on the underside of the trim ring and re-clamp them. We do not want to apply too much contact cement so that it saturates through, but we want to put enough on that it's going to stick. If the center clip isn't enough to hold the entire side down, we can go ahead and add another clip. Now that we've glued the shift boot to the trim ring, we're going to let the contact cement dry. If there's any parts where there's too much glue, we can use some isopropyl alcohol and wipe it off. Now that everything's dry, we're going to remove these binder clips. We're going to install our shift knob onto our shift boot. The shift boot is going to be held onto the shift knob with a zip tie, and we want the zip tie to hold the boot in the channel here. When we install the shift knob into the shift boot, we want to make sure that the text orientation is correct with the shift boot. So this center line here and these two prongs are going to indicate forward, and this text, we're also going to want to make sure it's in the correct position. We're going to invert the boot and inserting the knob in the correct orientation. And we want to make sure that the knob comes out just a bit so that we can access these set screws, but we can also get the boot seated in that channel. We want to ensure that the boot is held by the zip tie in the entire channel. And once we make sure that the zip tie is good, we're going to use some flush nuts to cut the zip tie. That's how you assemble the shift knob with the shift boot and the trim ring. To install this in the car, we're going to have to remove some of the OE trim pieces. We're going to remove these two side pieces, the center bezel, in order to access the PDK knob and this center trim piece here. I'm going to pop these two side pieces out. They should just require a push from the base here. And you can walk it the whole way. And if you pull out this way, the whole piece will come off. Now that the side pieces are off, this center bezel comes off just by pulling up. We're going to pull up the whole way. I like to start down here and work my way out. I'm also going to remove the rubber surround that came on that center piece. To remove the PDK knob, we have to twist the base of this, and it's better to do this by shifting the car into neutral. We recommend putting the car on a level surface and also putting the parking brake on so that it doesn't roll while in neutral. We're gonna put the car into accessory mode to put the car in neutral. To remove the PDK knob, we're gonna twist the base of it counterclockwise, and we're gonna press down on the shift knob and pull up. Make note of the wires here for the hazard side. You're gonna wanna use a pick tool to push this tab in, and after, you should be able to pull it right out. In this kit, we provided a trim piece to relocate the hazard and locking button. In order to take this off the OEM trim piece, we have to pop these clips out to remove it. Now that this is out, we're gonna pop this into our provided piece. We're gonna reinstall the hazard and locking button. With the shift boot inverted, we're gonna install it onto the PDK lever. We're gonna back these set screws out, install it onto the handle, and then set the set screws. If you've installed the knob and it looks like the button is popping out, you're gonna wanna hold the button and slide the handle up so that the button is flush with the handle. Then you can set your set screws now that it's at the correct height. Before fully installing the trim, we're gonna wanna make sure the knob can move through all the gears. You're gonna wanna key the car on to accessory and hold the brake in. And we should be able to shift through all of the gears if we've installed the knob properly. Now that we know our shift knob moves through all the gears properly, we can install our trim piece and all the factory trim pieces. That's how you install our TR35 PDK-to-Manual shift knob conversion kit. If you like this product and you want to see more, check out Rennline.com.